What is up, Waffle Gang? I do hope you're well. My name is Mark, and today we're covering some more r/am I the butthole. If you want to skip that initial waffle, shame on you first, but timestamps are in the description and along the timeline below. But if you are new here, please consider hitting that like, that subscribe, and maybe that notification bell too. And a huge thank you to each and every one of you for coming here every single day to support this channel, hitting that like and joining me on Twitter and Discord and all that kind of good stuff. It really does mean the world to me. Seeing our little community grow is absolutely amazing, and I can't thank you enough for what you do. And with that being said, let's get in to today's stories. Much love, guys. Our first story comes from a throwaway account. Am I the arsehole for not giving my sister the ring that our late grandmother gave to me? My grandmother passed away 3.5 years ago of cancer. She was the rock of the family, and her loss has hit everybody hard. My older sister at the time was estranged and wasn't in contact with the family. A few weeks before my grandmother passed away, she gave me her wedding ring and made me promise to hold on to it until I got married and wore it myself. Eventually my sister came back around and was obviously devastated to hear about our grandmother's death. She didn't seem too bothered with me having the ring at first, but recently she's gotten engaged to her fiance and wants the ring. My sister apparently told her fiance that she was going to get the ring, so he didn't bother with anything but a cheap simple gold band. She approached me the other day and said that she wants the ring, but I was obviously not going to give it up. My sister essentially told me that she deserves the ring since she was a better granddaughter and that she's getting married first, so she is entitled to it just by that fact. I am dead set on keeping it because obviously it's my grandmother's ring and I want it for when I get married. Just to be clear, I have a boyfriend, but we're going slow. Am I being an arsehole for not giving up the ring? And also a little bit of additional information that I was reading from OP's comments is that apparently this was written in the will that she gave her this ring for that reason. So yeah, I cannot say you're the arsehole. You're abiding by your grandmother's wishes. And how entitled is that for the sister to walk in and try and override those? Absolutely crazy. Whether it's grief or just pure entitlement in this case, it's absolutely insane for someone to try and do that. I can't believe that. Your grandmother said for you, for when you get married, not for whoever the first daughter is to get married gets the ring. She didn't make it a competition of any sort, right? And as we've learned in many of these Reddit stories, the first thing you need to do is hide that ring somewhere. Get it in a safety box or something. Just somewhere where your sister won't find it, because if she does, that ring is gone. Now, let's have a look at the comments to see what they say. Tolodactyl says, not the arsehole. Your sister sounds like an entitled little brat. Your grandmother wanted you to have it, and that's why she gave it to you instead of your sister. If she was the better granddaughter, then she would have had a relationship with your grandmother, rather than finding out she died well after the fact. Cece says, not the arsehole. Your grandmother gave the ring to you without conditions. She didn't say to hold on to it, that the first to get engaged gets it. She didn't say that if your sister comes around, the two of you should flip a coin for ownership. Your grandmother gave the ring to you and did not specify any conditions. Ignore your sister's tantrums. I would out the ring in a safety deposit box so she can't physically get to it. Do you have your grandmother's wishes in writing? And this is when it came up about the whole will. Welly Kiwi says, not the arsehole, 100%. Your grandmother gave the ring to you. You also said your sister was estranged from the family, so I'm not quite sure how she was somehow the better granddaughter. The ring is yours to do as you wish, but you might want to hide it somewhere safe, even put it in a lockbox or a bank safe if you don't trust your sister to not take it when you're not looking. Don't give in. She's trying to bully you now because she promised her fiance something that wasn't hers to promise. Her problem, not yours. Candyland Canada says, not the arsehole, hide it, put it in a safety deposit box or somewhere she can't get it. And yeah, it just pretty much carries on like that, really, that just hide the ring, because if that sister gets it, you know, from the entitlement she's showing in this story itself, she will probably just take that ring, right? So what would you guys do in this situation? Would you maybe go down another path and maybe give it up to the sister? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to vote on that poll in the description for story 1. And our next story is from Merce Michael. Am I the arsehole for shutting off the water and power when we moved out? Hey, long time stalker, first time poster. Posting from my phone, so forgive any formatting issues. So I find myself in a strange situation where I'm unsure if I was the arsehole or not. My boyfriend, male 38, and I, male 34, just bought a house together. First time homeowners, and moved in late September. Now we moved out of home when we'd been renting for 15 months. We gave the landlady 3 months notice and our lease would terminate October 31st. So you see we had a full month of overlap between the two houses. Now the house was bare for all of October since we were still renting. I had the utilities remain on under my name, but early October I set the power and water to be shut off Friday, October 30th. A day early, which is partly where I may be the arsehole. Because services aren't turned on/off on the weekends can potentially take 3 days, which would be November 5th. I'll also point out I told her I had scheduled utilities to be shut down and she initially asked me to call and transfer them into her name. I told her I can't do that. She has to call. I can't tell a utility company to send the bill to some random person at another address. Hell, she should know that. Now, my landlady is a bad one. She's lazy and negligent. The roof leaks and we were promised a new roof when we moved in last July, but never happened. She left a baseboard off of a bathroom remodel when we moved in, which left a sizable hole in the wall that collected water from the shower, leading to mould. Promised to fix this, never happened. Just examples to show she never follows through with promises. Now here's the problem. I handle all the rent checks and pay the utilities. My boyfriend pays his half, just everything is in my name. She knows this, but she has a friendlier relationship with boyfriend because they have mutual friends. She never responds to my texts but does message him occasionally. Now she made a very unusual request to boyfriend to pass on to me 5 days before official end of lease. She wanted me to not turn off water and power. No. She wanted me to keep them on in my name until a new renter was found and then reimburse me, which I highly doubt would ever happen. Obviously there was no way I was going to do this. In my mind, all she has to do is call utilities and have them transferred to her name, but she didn't do it. Anyway, the day came and it gets shut off. Now she has to pay fees to have them turned back on. She's angry and thinks I'm the arsehole. She says I should have coordinated better with her. But I think that since she is the landlady, it's her job to coordinate with me. I think it's highly unprofessional and illegal to ask a tenant to retain utilities in their name after their lease is over. And I'm really looking forward to see how she handled the deposit return. So Reddit, am I the arsehole? And either way, how should I handle this differently? You know, I think she's just wrong in this situation. I mean, as you say, she is the landlady. She needs to deal with these things, not you. This is not your job to be doing these things, right? You just need to cancel anything that's in your name. And for her to ask you to actually carry it on with your name is absolutely ludicrous that she would attempt that. How is she not even embarrassed to ask this question? I'd be absolutely mortified. But I'm hoping we'll get some landlords down. We usually do when these sort of posts come up. So let's have a look at the comments below to see what they say. Ostentia says, I'm a landlord. You're not the arsehole. Her expectations here are ludicrous. You handled this exactly right. Nut Michelle says, not the arsehole. Your landlady sounds like a scammer. Turn utilities off and let her deal with it. Old Wisebone says, not the arsehole. I'm a landlord and what she did is actually illegal. She can only communicate with the person on the lease. Also, there is no law that requires the tenant to turn on any utilities. Even if you're in a cold climate, as long as the water pipes aren't empty so they don't freeze, all you need to do is keep the place safe and clean. She's crazy. Depressing Darkling says, not the arsehole. Oh no, hun, you did exactly right. Never keep utilities in your name on a rental. You'll wind up in court for thousands of dollars in unpaid bills. You have to shut that off before you leave the house. Your landlord was trying to scam you out of free power and water. It is her responsibility to transfer it into her name. I had to do that myself when I moved into my new home last year. She knew what was up and you were smart not to trust her. And OP replies to saying she's definitely super cheap. In the month we have been out, she's definitely been in the house fixing things that should have been fixed before we even moved in, using our water and power. Oh, and one of her repairs is painting the ceiling where the roof leaks to temporarily hide it from the new tenant. Oh god. Maybe we should warn the next people that go to move in there. Leave a little secret message somewhere in there or something. Wow. Have any of you guys ever been in a similar situation while renting with a nightmare landlord? I love a nightmare landlord story. I don't know why. On our British TV, like on daytime TV, we got a lot of those programs like Nightmare Neighbours and Nightmare Tenants and Nightmare Landlords. They're all over the place and I'm addicted to those things. What do you guys think of this story? Let me know in the comments below and don't forget to vote on that poll in the description for story 2. And our next story is from Adold133. Am I the arsehole for not telling my wife that the perfume I buy her is what my first wife wore? I was previously married, but that marriage ended due to my wife's passing. In a lot of ways, I've still not come to terms with it, but I'm better now and I've come a long way from where I was after it happened. I try to keep her memory alive with little things that remind me of her, and one of the things I've done since she passed was always keeping some of her brand of perfume around so I could keep that scent/her scent present. I'm sure that seems kind of creepy, but it's not uncommon among other widowers I know. At some point, I bought it for my current wife as a gift and asked her to wear it. I didn't tell her when I gave it to her that it was the same type my first wife wore, but my first wife's friends and family noticed and I asked them not to say anything. They didn't, but told me they felt this was not healthy. I disagreed because I wasn't forcing her to wear it, and it was the only thing like this I did. I never asked her to change her hairstyles, hair colours, or the way she dressed, so it's not like I was trying to recreate my first wife. It wouldn't have worked, even if I wanted to do that, because they don't look alike, which I think proves that what I'm doing isn't unhealthy. We've now been married for over a decade, and my former sister-in-law finally told my wife about the perfume. She thinks I need to move on and stop living so much in the past, and believes that my first wife wouldn't want me hiding something like this from my wife or holding on to her in some of the ways I am. I don't get her concerns. She acts like I'm a crazy person, but this is the only thing I've done, ever. I feel like she's making this into a big issue when it's not. My wife was very upset that I never told her about the perfume being my first wife's favourite, and it has caused some other issues. For one, she wonders if some of the times I was really attracted to her, it was just the perfume and me imagining my first wife. I tried reassuring her, but she won't listen to what I say. She thinks I'm an arsehole for what I did. My family has all said as much in private over the years because of this secret. I don't think what I did was that bad. I didn't tell her, but I never forced her to wear it and haven't tried to change her. She knows I love her and our family, and I always thought this is a harmless tool to help me deal with the past. I don't feel like an arsehole, but I'm not sure I can judge myself fairly because I've done this for so long and justified it to myself over the years as a harmless thing that helped me process my feelings. Everyone seems to think I'm the wrong, so I don't know anymore. Maybe I was just the arsehole and didn't know it. Damn, now this is one of those ones, like we always say in Reddit, that may need therapy. It's incredibly sad that, he's missing his wife this much and he just wants little memories of her around. And you could have had the perfume and just once in a while sniff the bottle. I don't think that would be totally weird. When I go to my parents' house and, I see my mum's perfume bottle on the side, I occasionally just, waft it under my nose to get that smell, and I can smell my mum. Although it's the perfume, I know. But, it just reminds me of my mum, and it's a nice feeling to have. But to do that to your wife, for her to wear it, so you're smelling your late wife on your current wife, it's just, it's not fair on her. And it's going to put questions in her head now, like, when you bought her this gift, was you really thinking of your late wife? And everything down that line, from when she's got her hair done, and you've commented on it maybe, are you really thinking of your late wife? So yeah, what we're basically saying here is lying isn't going to help anything in life, And I don't see anything unhealthy with having reminders, but having someone else display those reminders for you isn't a great way to deal with things, in my opinion. So I'm afraid I would have to say you're the arsehole in this situation, although I do feel for OP and I hope they find some sort of therapy to help get them through it in some way. 90s lady says, you're the arsehole, you kept this from your wife for a reason. You knew it was wrong when you did it. NJ Bella says, you're the arsehole, sorry to say it, but your wife should have told you why you gifted her the scent. If she chose to wear it, that's one thing, but you took away that agency because of your own needs. That's really not okay. Rolling Katamari says, yep, you're the arsehole. No, you never forced her to wear the perfume, but if you had told her the truth, she would never wear the perfume in the first place. It doesn't matter, this is the only thing you did. This isn't a numbers game. You tricked your wife into wearing your deceased wife's perfume. That is incredibly weird and morbid. Listen to your wife, listen to your friends and family. What you did was wrong and you need to take responsibility and acknowledge your wife's feelings in this. Yeah, no, maybe not says, and quotes, she thinks I'm the arsehole for what I did, and my wife's family have all said as much in private over the years because of this secret. And then says, guess I'll add my you're the arsehole to the pile then. This is underhanded and very unfair to your wife. I feel terrible for her. What? The wife position was empty, so you found some other woman to fit the slot? Ick, ick, ick. Now, I turn this one to you guys. Say if you was in the wife's position and, the husband bought you a perfume that his late wife used to wear and you found this out. How would you feel in this situation? Would you be okay with it? Would you be really freaked out? I think personally I would be pretty freaked out by it, that, and like I said before, that he's thinking of myself as the sort of late wife. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and don't forget to vote on that poll in the description for story 3. And our next story is from Anxious Frustrations. Am I the arsehole for suing a woman after a car accident? Hi everyone, I'm having a fairly serious moral dilemma here, but after a lot of deliberation, I don't think I'm in the wrong. Earlier this year in February, I was driving home from work at 1 AM. When I was stopped at a red light, a young woman in a small sedan rear-ended me. It put a fairly sizable dent in my back fender. I got out of the car and asked if her and her children were okay. She assured me that everybody was fine and first asked if we could just exchange phone numbers without getting insurance involved. I told her that I was uncomfortable with the idea of not getting her insurance information because she could just give me a fake number or block me. She seemed very panicky here, eventually admitting that she didn't have insurance. I told her I'd have to call the police, not to report her, but so I could have an official report. She sat in her car crying while I called the police, who arrived shortly after and deemed she was entirely at fault for the accident. They talked to her for about 10 minutes after that, but let her go with a warning for a lack of insurance. I wasn't sure at the time why, but later she told me over the phone that she was actually moving cross-state to get away from her husband. I don't know specifics, but it sounds bad. I've been upfront with her that I'm going to take her to small claims court to get a court order for the money she owes me, seeing as she keeps telling me she has no money, but she promises she'll pay me when she does. I've stuck to my guns about taking the legal route though, but she keeps asking for a break. I really feel for her because she is escaping a situation that seems pretty bad, but I also feel I'm entitled to compensation for damage to my car. I'm not suing her for anything beyond the repairs, which are just shy of $400. Since I only have liability insurance, my company won't cover them, but I have already had my fender fully replaced. People are telling me to drop it, that I make enough money and so on, but I'm not convinced. That's money I spent for her mistake, and I don't think her life circumstances are really relevant to that. Am I the arsehole for not letting this go? Now, in some ways, I just want to turn around and say not the arsehole because, you know, it wasn't your fault in the end and you should get money for someone that's damaged your property. But if we're taking into account as well, the woman is trying to escape someone and we take that as like the worst case scenario that she's trying to escape an abusive relationship or something like that and taking her kids to try and get away, then does it change things? In my mind, it kind of does. I think if I was in that situation, I would have some compassion, but this is me. Do take that into account. This is me that I would have some compassion. And I don't think if the whole story is true, I'd be able to, you know, take them to small claims to do that. If someone's struggling in that way in life, you know, they're trying to escape someone from abuse and they don't have money at the moment anyway, and, you know, and I was in a well enough position, have enough money to cover these costs and still be fine about it. Yeah, you just got to have some compassion for people in those situations. And I think in some ways, I'm not totally sure here because I'm not totally a legal person or anything like that. But if you do sue her, then doesn't her name and stuff, doesn't it become public so some other people can see that? So the person that might be looking for her can find her. I might be totally wrong there. I'm just throwing that one out there like I usually do. Always got to throw a little something out there, you know. But let's have a look at the comments to see what they say. Cutie says, keep in mind that being technically correct and morally correct are two different things. If she doesn't have the money, escaping an abusive spouse often means leaving everything behind, and her not having insurance in her name can easily be a part of the abuse to keep her under control. That means you won't be getting the money anyway. I can't sit here and tell you if you should or shouldn't. Within the law, you are correct and encouraged, but you have to figure out if that's the person you're happy being. Could she be lying? I mean, maybe. That would speak to her character. What you do moving forward speaks to yours, for better or for worse. OP replied to this saying, interesting, I really appreciate your input on this. You seem like a very compassionate person, and I think we could all afford to be a bit nicer in day-to-day life. Pretty Coffee Cup says, there are moral and legal answers to your questions, but you posted in this sub, so if you file the small claims, yes, you're the arsehole. Here is why. Your car is already repaired, you make enough to cover it. Her circumstances, suing in court could, in many jurisdictions, create a public record that allows the person she is escaping to find her. You likely won't be able to collect because she will be judgment proof, no assets and too little income to garnish. Overall, you're in a position to let it go. If you don't, that's what makes you the arsehole. Obsessed with B says, can you afford the repairs yourself? From the sound of things, $400 is probably worth a lot to her right now than it is to you. Being legally in the right doesn't mean it's the right thing to do. Sorry, but you're the arsehole. OP replies to this saying, I have plenty of money in the bank. The reason I'm suing is because she hit my car and I shouldn't have to lose money because she drove recklessly. To which someone else replies to OP saying she might have been reckless because she was running away from a very abusive relationship. If you've got plenty of money, then feel thankful you've not been in her situation and during a pandemic. You suing her will put information on public record, and if God forbid her abusive spouse goes after her when finding the information, is her life worth $400? And Unaware Panda says, if you make enough that it isn't your stressor on finances and won't negatively affect your life, you're the arsehole. It's one thing if it's out of need, it's another if it's out of principle. You said yourself it sounds like she's fleeing from a bad situation, potentially domestic abuse, and now you're pursuing legal action. It's not like your car was totaled. In a strictly technical examination, you're in the right, but with some compassion and knowing you're in a situation where it won't affect you negatively, nope, $400 is not insignificant, but you're stable and self-admittedly able to handle it without stress. At worst, you got scammed and karma will get who needs it in the end. At best, you gave a survivor a better shot. Now, what would you do in this situation if you was OP, someone rear-ended you, you eventually found out that it was escaping, a difficult situation? Would you have some compassion, or would you say, no, they rear-ended me, they owe me money? Let me know what you would do in the comments below, and don't forget to vote on that poll in the description for story 4. Once again guys, thank you for being here today. As I always say, the support you've been giving me recently is absolutely amazing, and from the bottom of my heart, I thank you so much. Waffle Gang, you know I love you, and I will see you in the next one. Take care guys, much love.